Internet, is the fourth time the charm? Am I in the Koi Cube? Someone let me know in the chat. Hello, Internet. It is December. It is December 1st. We are now in the right video. Unfortunately, this kept trying to go to my comic books and craft beer stream, and that is not what we're having today. Today, we are doing comic books and craft beer commentary about Friday, but it is Koi Cube Day. Hello, Internet, and welcome to another episode of Koi Cubed. It is, as I said, December 1st. I am in a great mood today because I finally broke my cold. I was really sick last week, and it's scary to be sick in these times. The anxiety of having the sniffles is, I always am a baby when I'm sick. Like, as a grown man, I feel like grown men are the worst when they're sick. They just cower and complain, and in quarantine you can only complain to yourself and your cat. I was a little bitch, and now I am better and I feel so much better. Also, the fear of the Rona made my usual functional anxiety a problem. I definitely was quite the mess this weekend, but I don't have the Rona. I got my test back on Sunday, took the test Saturday, no corona, and I also feel better as of today, Tuesday. Yeah, so got back on the bike today, sweat out whatever extra death I had, and I'm feeling much better. So apologies for the short show last week, and apologies for craft beer and comic books not being able to do the show on Friday. Jenny couldn't make it last minute, and I didn't feel well, so it wasn't meant to be. That said, this week we're going to be doing something just about every day. So right after this stream today, we're going to be doing a Batman Returns live stream, full audio commentary in honor of the great Michael McCarcel. Patron Michael McCarcel and I are teaming up for Batman Returns. It is the holidays, so we're going to be doing some Batman Returns audio commentary. I haven't seen that movie in probably 10 years, so I'm really excited for the nostalgia of it, as well as to experience new things with you guys, which is going to be really, really fun. So after this stream, plus about half an hour, we're going to be doing Batman Returns. I'd say sooner, but I'm not going to risk streams crossing. Never cross the streams. That's what we learned on this fourth take of Koi Cube. Don't cross the streams. It causes problems. Also, you may notice, remember I talked about the stress of being sick? There's a crease right here. I actually broke the blood capillaries and gave myself a stress bruise from being sick. So that your eyes do not deceive you, there's a couple of capillaries there. I do this like once a month. Anyway, let's get into the news. Enough of letting people jump in because there was some stalling, so I wanted people to have time to find the right thread. Welcome, if you're just joining us, this is Koi Cubed, and this is the news portion of the YouTube. Like I said, Batman Returns next. Tomorrow, I'm going to be dropping a review for Gremlins, which I did for the great John Getz. And then on Thursday, I believe, I'm announcing my new Patreon tier, which I'm going to talk about later in the episode. And then Friday, fingers crossed, comic books, craft beer, me, Jenny, lots of saga goodness. But first, today, the news. Wonder Woman 1984 is coming to HBO Max. I rued the day a week ago or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was, but today is not about mourning. Today is not about bitching. Today is about celebrating the fact that it is going to be on streaming, and it is simultaneously in theaters. My mom works at an AMC. My mom will probably join the chat at some point. And they officially opened it up for ticket sales, which makes me think they are in fact going to be open in 3 weeks. I was worried with all the protocols and quarantine and all those things that the theaters wouldn't actually be able to play the movie, and the in theaters and streaming was just a courtesy. It looks like there will be some theaters open to play it. Be careful, be safe, wear a mask, do what you can. That said, for those of us that are going to be watching it on streaming, including myself, not my desired format to watch the movie, but there is an update on the streaming goodness. It will be streaming in 4K Ultra HD, HDR10, Dolby Vision, and Dolby Atmos. So, all you lovelies out there that have brand new TVs, if you got a TV on Black Friday, if you've had an incredible at-home system, now is the time to celebrate. The very first ever 4K movie on HBO Max is going to be Wonder Woman 1984. If we're going to sacrifice the theatrical experience, let's damn well make sure the theatrical experience comes home as best it can. Now, this being the first 4K streaming on HBO Max, I'm very curious about how that translates, how much bandwidth that takes. You know, the 4K TVs being what they are, I haven't seen anything streaming in 4K that felt like the level of 4K I expect from, you know, like an HD, Ultra HD Blu-ray. I know Netflix has some 4Ks as well, but for me, there's just not enough bandwidth in the world to make that possible. That's one of the reasons I buy physical media. I'll be buying Wonder Woman 84 the moment I can. I don't want to rely on the internet to give me my picture and sound. One of the reasons I believe in physical media is that clarity and that beauty of sound and video. But we'll see what happens with this dropping on Christmas. I guarantee this is going to set some ratings records between the 4K debut, it being one of the most anticipated movies of the year and last year because it's gotten pushed a bunch of times, and with Soul coming to Disney. I think that Christmas Day is going to be a giant streaming day. Now, Christmas is historically a family day to go out and see movies. In this case, I think it's going to be a historic sit at home and see what ratings numbers are done day. So I personally am not traveling for the holidays. I won't be with my family this year, which is crushing. I love my family dearly. I look forward to Christmas every year. My family is the tits. They're the fucking best. I love seeing them. I love just sitting and talking with them. I love going to the movies with them. I love opening Christmas presents with them. My family is just the best. But I do not get to see them this year, so I'm thinking we might do a Wonder Woman 84 like Zoom, like a cross-country watch. I'll probably watch it by myself and then immediately watch it with them. I do want to watch it by myself first to get the whole experience without trying to hi, etc., etc. So I'll be reviewing it probably within that next couple days, a spoiler-free review, probably the 27th or so. I'm also thinking about doing a Christmas stream, so if you guys are all stuck at home like myself, I'm thinking about doing a fun like Q&A, freewheeling, no news Christmas stream. If that's something you'd be into, leave a comment below, and other YouTube things. So, Wonder Woman 84 coming in all sorts of formats on HBO Max, and then you remember Soul is coming to Disney Plus on Christmas Day as well, which is very exciting because both were amongst my most anticipated of the year, and they still are. So Christmas Day can be as best it can. Over to the TV side, things that are meant to be on the screens that we have at home, not theaters, which I will miss. Rafael Casal is back for the Blindspotting TV show. Now, if you follow this show, you probably know how much I'm obsessed with the movie Blindspotting. I think if there was no Spider-Man film in 2018, Blindspotting would have been my #1 film of the year. Unfortunately, for my statistics in my head, both Infinity War and Into the Spider-Verse came out. So strike the superhero stuff, Blindspotting, movie of the year 2018. I think about it often. It's one of my go-to show people this movies. I believe it's streaming on a couple platforms. Look up Blindspotting. It actively will change your life. It is a genius drama, comedy, borderline musical about such important subject matter, handled so much better that it doesn't feel like it's just bludgeoning over the head with pandering. It feels like you're living an experience. Instead of being told something, you're experiencing it with the characters. It's a genius film. It is getting extended into a broader world with a TV show. Now, I've been excited for the show for a little over a year. They announced it a while ago. The movie is Daveed Diggs of Hamilton and what's that show he's on? The Train show. He's on a lot of cool shit. Daveed Diggs is rad. But for me, Daveed Diggs is this movie, and the soundtrack is impeccable. I hope there's more magic. They released a double album to tie into the Blindspotting movie. I'm hoping there's more music coming out of the show. That said, Rafa's back. He is not just starring in the show, again, reprising his character, not just directing an episode on top of that, but he's also the showrunner for the first season. Like, holy shit, all the hats. Rafa, killing it. Many hats. We're talking showrunner, director, actor. The guy wrote and helped shepherd forward the first movie, so it is in very good hands. It is now my most anticipated TV show of next year, and it started filming this week. So if you haven't seen Blindspotting yet, check it out on whatever streaming service it's on. Look it up. I promise you, it is genius. It is so important to me, and the show I cannot be more excited about. So Rafael Casal, Daveed Diggs, Blindspotting, look it up, check out the show. Coming at ya, and congrats to Rafa for show running, directing, starring. So fucking cool. All right, over to the world of movies that you may be interested in and you may not, because this is just before the superhero zeitgeist really shifted. In the 80s, there was a movie called Toxic Avenger. Toxic Avenger is a trauma film. It is a very bold and brazen, insane spectacle, but it is of the superhero ilk, so I wanted to bring it up today. Legendary is rebooting the Toxic Avenger, and it's going to star Peter Dinklage. Now, I love Peter Dinklage. I think this is genius. I mean, he won't do something that disrespects him. Like, Peter Dinklage wouldn't sign up for something that was disrespectful to the man. So I feel like they've got a cool new take on the Toxic Avenger. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. Sorry, I'm trying to get better and healthy, and I haven't had lunch yet, so there'll be green Peter Dinklage as the Toxic Avenger is very, very exciting. There's a lot of trauma backstory to the character, so a reboot is going to be really, really, really cool. I think that it's a really good time to do a reboot because a lot of people won't know the original, and it's also a really cool opportunity to get people to revisit Trauma and the entire pantheon of what that insane studio is. It's a really cool opportunity, and Peter Dinklage bringing a huge audience to it is just going to help. So, Toxic Avenger, if you've never seen it, check it out. If you don't know Trauma, it's a journey, it's a weird time, and the new one with Peter Dinklage, I am all for. All right, that is 3 stories, and I'm going to try this new thing where every few stories I check the chat periodically as best I can. It does move quickly, but I want to make sure. He does toxically avenge things, and he drinks, and he does. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. We got a Streamlabs from Mr. Garth Harkness McMurray. Hope people can safely see Wonder Woman 84 in theaters where it's playing. I also like to plug for Sam Sheridan, husband of Patty Jenkins. Tonight is the debut of his new show, Atlas of Cursed Places, on the National Geographic Channel. It is a very cool show. Sam Sheridan is awesome. Patty Jenkins is the shit, and I know nothing of this show, but I appreciate any plug for those talented folk. Atlas of Cursed Places on the Nat Geo channel is probably going to end up on Disney Plus at some point because Nat Geo's over there, so that is really rad. So hell yeah. Thank you for sharing that info, Mr. McMurray, and thank you for the streamline. All right, let's check in. Mr. Michael McCarcel is struggling through a workout. Everyone wish him well. I worked out at 7 a.m. I woke up at 5:30 so I could make sure I got all my streams in today. It was not easy, but I'm trying to be a morning person, and it does not suit me, but I'm doing what I can. It actually isn't letting me scroll up. Streamlabs, that's the only way, I guess. I literally cannot scroll up through the live chat, so I apologize for everyone in the live chat that is not in the exact 5 blurbs of madness. I actively can't scroll up. My computer's been giving me a hard time lately, so it's not necessarily me. I apologize. All right, let's go to the next bit of story. Let's see here. Yelena Belova, the character that is going to be played by Florence Pugh in The Black Widow, the sister of Black Widow herself, is in Hawkeye. Now this is really exciting because Hawkeye is probably going to jump around time. I assume that she is going to die in the movie, especially with the green vest situation where we have her, Black Widow, wearing the green vest in Endgame. I'm curious if there's going to be any sort of Mission Impossible-esque hijinks with unmasking, probably not to that extreme, but I'm very curious how they actually adjust to that. I'm uncertain what the Black Widow movie is going to represent in the timeline because we know it takes place in the past. We know it takes place and leads into the events that go forward, but what is it to Hawkeye? Because I assume Hawkeye is also going to translate to, you know, the events of between Civil War and Infinity War. I assume it's going to deal with Budapest. What has that to do with Yelena Belova? I'm very excited about. Are they just friends? Does Hawkeye know her through Black Widow? Is it a cameo? Either way, they're filming Hawkeye now, and she shows up. And as much as I feel like I've got Black Widow figured out, every time there's a new seed like this, it's really exciting. Now, we would have seen Black Widow back in May. We'd already have it on Blu-ray at this point. It'd be on Disney Plus by this point. But since we don't know, it's kind of more exciting that we have this Florence Pugh announcement in Hawkeye because we have no idea how the character ends up. So as much as I can't wait for these Disney Plus shows and these Marvel movies to roll out, it's fun being confused and excited again. So we're going to see what's going on with the Hawkeye TV show. We're going to see what's actually happening with Yelena Belova, and we're going to see how the Black Widow movie goes whenever we get to see it. And it's likely, I mean, now that it's December, we're not getting it on Christmas unless there's some random Black Widow surprise in the morning. But I'm glad, personally, I want to see that movie in theaters. I wanted to see 84 in theaters as well, but such is life. So, Yelena Belova in Hawkeye. What do you guys think? I think it's time-based, and I do think she dies. So my personal take is Hawkeye's friends with her through Black Widow. She dies, and there's a flashback, maybe even Budapest, but I don't think it is modern continuity where we get to have Florence Pugh. I could be very wrong. I hope I'm very wrong. I like being surprised. It's going to be exciting. So they're currently filming the Hawkeye show in, I believe, Los Angeles, and Disney Plus is releasing that, I believe, in 2022. So we've got a few shows before it, but the mystery and intrigue continues. All right, let's go over to Star Wars. It is Tuesday. These are spoilers for Friday. If you haven't seen The Mandalorian on Friday, The next 2 minutes will be spoilers. Mute, and I'll wave like a silly person. So if you see spirit fingers, you're safe. Until you see spirit fingers, bugger off. It's spoilers, but that's the whole story, so I can't do a spoiler-free. That's all the warning I can give you. Okay, guys, the child has a name. Baby Yoda has a name, and it is perfect, and I am so excited about it. Grogu is the perfect name for that little creature, and I am very, very stoked that it is not a letdown. I'm very stoked that it is endearing. I'm very stoked that I can hear it saying it. I'm very stoked that the first person to say it was Ahsoka. I can't pronounce that correctly. I know the character, I know her importance, but Ahsoka, I think it is. I love that they gave that legacy character the moment of saying the name. I think that's really rad. So I'm stoked. I think it was perfect. I also loved that episode. Friday's episode is probably my favorite of the series so far. I think they handled her impossibly well. Ahsoka looked just like the animated version of her aged. She looked just like I imagined her in live action, and arguably there was this incredible Uncanny Valley thing where she looked almost CGI often, and that's the stunning beauty of Rosario Dawson translating to this almost CGI figure of character. Stunning, incredible, wonderful. The fighting was so rad. The wielding of two sabers was so incredibly cinematic. It really worked on TV. I'm so happy at The Mandalorian. I know a lot of people I don't like talking about Star Wars because I think its fandom is aggressive and problematic. That said, The Mandalorian is everything I wanted Star Wars to be as a kid and everything it can be as an adult. I think it's exactly how I imagined it, and now that it's landing that way, it fills my geeky heart with such happiness. It's made me a Star Wars fan again. The Mandalorian is that good. I loved Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, and I loved Grogu, the name, the child, the moments, everything. I'm very, very excited. I'm going to wrap out the spoilers. I'm going to do my spirit fingers, and we will talk about the goodness of the Mandalorian finale. We'll probably do a bit of a review as the season wraps up. Like I said, I usually avoid Star Wars, but I love this show so much. I want to talk about it, so I will, and I'll hope for the best with Star Wars fans, and I'll deal with them later. So expect a review at the end of the season. Grogu, awesome. Filoni, the man. Osaka, the shit. Yes, Mandalorian. Okay, end spoilers. Spirit fingers, unmute. Welcome back. All right, and for people that watch that with audio, sorry for having to do spirit fingers at you. Okay, speaking of muting things and beautiful, beautiful language, I love swearing. I love the word fuck. I love four-letter words in general. I love swears in other languages. I love language, and I think that language is so important and powerful and useful, and I love when a word affects me. I use the word cunt often because it actually has impact still, and that gets me in trouble, but I don't give a fuck. So I want to point out there is a beautiful retelling of an audio journey. Basically before they started rolling, this audio tech was recording with Stan to get a sound check, and instead of an Excelsior sound check, Stan was just going at it, and hearing Stan Lee swear is amazing, and seeing it in animation is even more amazing. Look up Stan Lee F word, look up Stan Lee fuck. I don't even know what the title of the thing is, but it's so fucking good. Hearing Stan Lee praising the word fuck in all of its usage, its verbiage, its adjectiveness, its noun. The word fuck is arguably the most versatile word in the English language. Stan Lee talks about that. It's only a 1.5-minute clip, but hearing Stan and his passion for language and his passion for the word fuck warmed my heart. The video just was released this week. Felt like a Christmas gift. I really appreciate it. So do check out Stan Lee appreciating the word fuck. It made me happy, and it felt like the holiday gift I didn't know I wanted. All right, over to the Streamlabs, because I unfortunately cannot read the live chat quick enough to possibly keep up, even though today I was trying. All right, Michael McCarsel. I'm so confused by some fans being upset about the name of the child. He's an alien in a space fantasy series. Of course he has a weird, fun name. Yoda and Obi-Wan Kenobi are weird names. I'm often saddened by the discourse around Star Wars these days. I could not have said it better myself, good sir. It is a fantasy series. Obi-Wan Kenobi. If you didn't have that seared into your head for the last 30 years, it would sound weird. Yoda is weird. The last name Skywalker is very cheesily written. Asaka, all these names that are of species that aren't humanoid are strange names. I think the child's name is perfect. I think it is as cute as the child is. I think that it was a beautiful 1.5 seasons of build-up for the delivery of that name, and I think they landed it. I think it's the perfect name. I also love that apparently George Lucas was on set for her character, for Ahsoka, and I love that he was there for the episode where the child was named. I feel like George Lucas getting to be part of that legacy moment is really rad. So all in all, I could not agree more. It is a space fantasy series, and it should be a weird, fun name. So I totally agree with you, good sir. And I think Star Wars fans are just, they envision something their whole lives, and when it isn't exactly that, it's hard for them. So for anyone, like, you know, like it's separating your fandom and your perspective from the art itself. Like, I personally don't think of the Marvel Spider-Man as my Spider-Man, but I can appreciate the MCU Spider-Man completely separately from my Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland is great as Spider-Man, but I don't see Spider-Man as Iron Man Jr., so I have to separate that. For whatever reason, I see Dan Slott's name in the chat as well. Dan Slott's Spider-Man is not my Spider-Man. I think Dan Slott is a fine writer. I like his Fantastic Four. I like his Silver Surfer. I like lots of his work. I did not like his Spider-Man. He was on it for 5 years. My Spider-Man doesn't have infinite wealth, and I get he did that build-up just to see him fall. I get the point of that arc. I didn't like Superior Spider-Man that much. I get the point of the arc. It wasn't my thing. I have nothing against it. People love that shit. Be happy. Read those comics. I bought them all because I collect Spider-Man. I enjoyed the journey, not my Spider-Man. But I feel like there's certain fandoms that don't handle that letdown well. And I feel like there's certain fandoms that get really aggressive and they don't see that they're heading towards the dark side, because anger leads to the fucking dark side. So I agree. And, I actually can see a couple of these. I leaned in. My take on JMS, J. Michael Straczynski. I'm going to say John Michael Straczynski. That might be his name. J. Michael Straczynski is one of my favorite first half runs. I don't love the second half of his arc, but he introduced Morlun. He introduced a lot of the stuff that led to the Spider-Verse. What I really love is his college professor Spider-Man take. I think issues 30 through 33 are impeccable, and the next few arcs are great too. It kind of falls off at the end, but I think Straczynski had a really strong take on an older Spider-Man. I loved his relationships. I liked a lot of where he took that character. I'm a huge JMS Spider-Man fan. It's one of the books that I recommended to Jake Gyllenhaal over in London. Was that run of Spider-Man feels iconic to me, and I think that Rebirth run is a really good jumping on point. So I think I gave Jake issues 30 through 42 or thereabouts as like, this is adult Spider-Man, and this is what that's actually what I saw him taking over for Tobey in Spider-Man 2 as. I thought if they ever went adult Spider-Man, Jake could be perfect, especially the Tobey Maguire thing with Seabiscuit. He almost played Spider-Man. Tobey hurt his back. It was a whole thing. Might have been for money. Who knows? But that's what I wanted. I wanted the JMS Spider-Man story starring Jake, but we'll never get that because he's Mysterio now. Moving on. All right. Hopefully that answered the brief question I did get to see. Let's get into some more news. Save Daredevil, y'all. I don't talk about this often enough. I brought it up on Heroes a lot. I brought it up with like Deborah Ann Wall when she was on Heroes. I brought it up with anytime a guest would hear me out after we found out that Daredevil was going to be canceled. I was heartbroken. I think it's one of the best adaptations of any comic book ever. I would pit the Netflix Daredevil show against almost any MCU show. It is near perfect. I loved the pace. I loved its long form. I loved its agony. I loved its righteousness. I loved its rage. I loved its fights. I loved the long form storytelling where you cared about the supporting cast as much as the leads. I loved that Kingpin was as much a lead as Daredevil. I love that they had the same goal. Daredevil is a perfect show to me. I want it back. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's going to happen. I am, now that the rights are back with Marvel, I'm fully team Charlie Cox and the rest of the team come back. I'm fully team Vincent D'Onofrio's back. I want Deborah Ann Wall to play Karen again. I want to see everyone reprise their roles. I want to see where they're going with that Bullseye storyline. I don't know legally how they can reference the Netflix stuff. I don't know legally what it means to have the Daredevil rights back. I don't know any of that because I'm not a lawyer. I do know the campaign for Save Daredevil is enormous. It's almost the Snyder Cut level of whoa. And we got the Snyder Cut because of fans. I think it is a very beautiful opportunity for Marvel to do Daredevil in a way they won't otherwise. I don't think we can have a Marvel Knights Daredevil within the MCU. I think it needs to be adjacent. I think it needs to live on Hulu. I think just like Deadpool, it's going to have to be just left to center. I don't think an R-rated universe folding into the MCU can work right now, but if they start laying those breadcrumbs with Daredevil and Deadpool, maybe it's possible down the line. Our audience is aging with us, right? Like every year, the people that discovered Iron Man when they were 10 are a year older. Iron Man came out in 2008, so that's 12 years ago now. So 10-year-olds are 22, etc. So I do think there's a really cool opportunity. I really want there to be an opportunity for the Daredevil mythos to fold in. I don't necessarily want just a movie. I think he's a long-form character. I want to see more things like the Netflix shows. Whether or not that'll happen on Disney Plus, I don't know. Whether or not they can keep that tone, I don't know. I'm very excited. Save Daredevil, hashtag Save Daredevil, etc., etc. It has my full support. As of November 29th, the rights are back at Marvel. You will hear me loudly singing the praises of Daredevil, hoping it goes back to being the Charlie Cox show. Is it possible? I have no idea. Do I want it? Yes, fucking please. All right, James Wan and the Overlord director are teaming up to remake Van Helsing. Now, remake is a tricky word because Van Helsing is a classic bit of literature. I don't know if they're going to be referencing the Hugh Jackman one, but Van Helsing precedes any of our, superheroes and stuff. Van Helsing's a classic bit of like Bram Stoker era craziness. Bram Stoker? I don't think it's Bram Stoker. It's probably the porn. Bram Stoker Dracula. But that's the era of Van Helsing. I'm curious what they adapt, but I really enjoyed Overlord. I watched it for a Patron review, actually. I really dug it. John Getz had me watch that craziness, and it's the right amount of insanity and gore and genre bending. So that director teaming up with James Wan, a genius producer, a genius horror buff, making a Van Helsing is exactly my cup of tea. I'm not usually a horror fan. This sounds like it's right up my alley. This sounds like a way to get me involved. I think it's going to be really interesting to see this new wave of horror with the James Wans and the post-DC films of the world. Because, Scott Derrickson with Doctor Strange, now he has a little bit more, flex to make whatever he wants to make. James Wan has tons of flex, made a $1 billion Aquaman movie. Sandberg with, not Andy, what's his name? The Shazam director, his last name's Sandberg. Anyway, all of these horror directors are going to do these blockbusters, then they're probably going to go back to making the horror films, and they're going to have a lot more clout. This is an exciting time to be a horror fan, and it's actually got me, a non-horror fan, excited. So, Van Helsing getting remade, I'm all for it. That team is a powerful enough team to get this non-horror fan interested, and I am all about it. All right, let me see if I can quickly grab any of the chat stuff before it scrolls away. Do I have the option? Nope. Yep, there we go. The last thing I have, it actually got stuck at the thing. I'm stuck at Romeo and Juliet, which was the last time I tried to scroll the live chat. So not only is the live chat not moving and grooving, it's literally stuck at 1, so I can't even do the modern stuff. I apologize, good people of the internet. All right, moving over to, we're going to talk about Patreon tier. Good people of the internet, I have a new Patreon tier. If you're a patron, thank you. If you're not a patron, I got one of them. The new Patreon tier is going to be these bad Larrys. So a lot of times, y'all want to ask me a deep cut question that'll take me more than a minute to answer or more than 5 minutes to answer. I love getting to those through Streamlabs. I love trying to catch them on Patreon, but I don't always. So what I'm thinking for the new Displate tier is I want to cover my art wall with as many displays as I can. Now, basically, they're just going to row this lineup, but they're going to alternate. So I can move these bad Larrys because they're magnets. So I can change my set constantly. This is Alex Ross and a beautiful Batman's Rogues Gallery. So that is behind me today, but it's directly behind me, so you can't see it. Now, since these move, I can adjust them at all times. You got Hunter, you got DJ Monkey, you got Daredevil down here. I can move those around for my set, so I want to have more of them. Unfortunately, I do not have the money to buy $40 pieces of art at all times. 40 bucks adds up, plus shipping. So I got a membership to Displate, so I get free shipping, cost me 15 bucks a month, and then I can get free shipping, but I can't afford to buy stacks of these every month. I just don't have the money. But with Displate, I can actually set a wish list aside, and then if you guys want, as your tier of patronage, and you want to ask me like 2 or 3 questions, I'll dedicate an entire Q&A video to you, answer your 2 or 3 questions, however long it takes, and do an unboxing, and I'll also talk about whatever Displate I ordered. So, say I get a Top Gun Displate, I'll talk about why I love Top Gun. If I get a Mad Max Fury Road Displate, I'll talk about like that property. There's a Halsey one I want, I'll talk about the music of Halsey, and then I'll answer your question all while unboxing, and then you get to contribute to part of my set if that's your cup of tea. So I think it's like $30 or $35, I don't remember what I said it at. It's less than the price of a Displate because there's often sales. If you're a patron, that also means you get everything underneath that tier. So I think I said it at 30. 30 or 35. The $25 tier is every movie or TV show I watch rated. I watched 25 movies this month because I was sick, so for 3 days I watched 3 movies a day. All of those rated. You also get all my comic books rated. I read like 40 books a week. All of those are rated in the Patreon. There's also a Patron-only podcast where I talk about everything I've consumed and do long-form reviews with my Coy-Cast producer, Jake. And you also get access to my Discord. So you get Discord, Patron-only podcast, comic reviews, movie reviews, and to ask questions if that's your cup of tea. I don't talk about Patreon a lot, but I should because I dig my patronage and I dig the people that are patrons on my Patreon. I appreciate you dearly. So if that's your cup of tea, it's over at patreon.com/Coy-Jandreau. That's what the display tier means. I'm gonna be dropping a video about it probably the day after tomorrow. So stay tuned if you want to see the unboxing of these bad Larrys. All right, let's give some comic recs, some streaming recs, and then let's wrap this up because I'm going to be doing a probably 5:30 Batman Returns. That gives me a little time to set up. Let's say 5:30, Batman Returns. It's on HBO Max. It might be streaming other places. That's going to be our Christmas kickoff, December 1st movie. Batman Returns. I'm all sorts of into it. But first, I saw someone say what an LA person I am, and they're right. Vitamins, minerals, green. Oh yes. Oh yes, indeed. Oh, hey, we got movement. Okay. You're not unsupervised anymore, Mr. Michael McCarcel. I'm back. Nat, thank you. It is nice art. I'm a fan of it. Ian, there were sales on Black Friday, but I think they continued on to Cyber Monday, so they might still be going on. They had 41% off, which drops it to like $26 a display. You don't need frames for these, so $26, it's a savings, because frames are like $20. Display.com. This isn't an ad. They're not paying me. They're not even sending me free shit. I just like them. All right, let's see. Halsey, is she still dating Quicksilver? I don't know, but I hope not, because I got a crush. She's perfect. All right, Nat, there is no OnlyFans in the near future. If things get dire, who knows? But not yet. All right, I'd love to see Wilson Bethel return to the world of Marvel as Bullseye in the Hawkeye series as a mad villain. It won't happen, but it should. We can keep dreaming, man. The Snyder Cut I never thought would happen. We got the Snyder Cut. We can eventually get anything. And not to disrespect the Snyder Cut, but I think there are things that like the Deadpool animated series from Donald Glover, I would have liked more. So if fans make themselves known, things are happening. I'm really hoping Save Daredevil can happen. Again, not disrespect Snyder Cut. I just really want a Save Daredevil campaign to come to fruition. All right. Let's wrap it up with some comic books. I recommend the comic books that come out tomorrow/today. If your DC drops Tuesday, Marvel, Image, everything else drops Wednesday, so I refer to New Comic Day as Wednesday for life. For me, comic books are a Wednesday thing. So coming out tomorrow, Batman 104, Batman Catwoman #1. I've been waiting for Batcat forever. Tom King, Clayman. Very excited about this book. It is the spiritual sequel/sequel to Tom King's Batman run, which I love. And now finally we get Batcat. It is a year in the making. Clayman had the time to make his art as perfect as he wanted. So excited for this book, and it's Phantasm. That's right, Mask of the Phantasm, now canon in the comic books. Black Widow #4, Champions #3, Civil War Marvel Snapshots, Daredevil 25, oversized issue, Chip Zdarsky on Daredevil, genius, especially if we're talking the glory of an oversized issue. Cannot wait to see what's going on with Daredevil. So I don't want to give anything away in the comics. So much is happening in the comic. 25 is going to be nuts. Deceased Dead Planet #6, Dead Body Road Bad Blood #6, the final issue of that miniseries. Fantastic Four Road Trip #1, new miniseries. Far Sector #9, Space Cops. Do you like Space Cops? This is a great Space Cop book. Firepower #6, my favorite new ongoing of the year. It is Robert Kirkman on words. It is Chris Samney on pencils. It is a beautiful book. It is a fun book. It is a genius book. Far Sector and Firepower, both highly recommended. Hellions #7, King in Black #1. At long last, Donny Cates' King in Black event arrives. Ryan Stegman, genius artist. So excited for that book. Miles Morales Spider-Man 21, MODOK Head Games #1. Anytime there's a MODOK head pun, I'm in. MODOK Head Games, genius. We've got Savage Avengers #15, Strange Adventures #7. After a month off, Strange Adventures is back. You guys know how much I love this mini. Thor #10 and X Factor #15. If I had to pick only one book, I couldn't, but I'd have to say Batcat, Firepower, Daredevil 25, Thor #10, and Strange Adventures #7 would all be my #1 pick any other week, and King in Black. All those would make the #1, but there's too many #1s this week. I clearly can't count. What is math? These are all #1s. I'm real amped. I saw a couple Streamlabs. Let me refresh and make sure I didn't miss. All right. With Thunderbolts rumors, how do you think this could fuel the X-Men and Illuminati in the MCU? So I don't think that Illuminati will be the same Illuminati that we have in the current iteration. You'd have to have too much backstory for the X-Men to just be introduced. Xavier can't be as known yet. They could have little hints about the Illuminati, plant breadcrumbs, him being a little nefarious, some meeting he goes to, something. But there's way too much backstory for Namor, Black Panther, Xavier. There's too much. So I do think we're going to get X-Men, but I don't think we're going to see them until Phase 5. I don't know about Fantastic Four, because Phase 4 is perfect, but I don't think we're going to get X-Men for a while. So I see the Illuminati maybe being a Phase 5 or Phase 6 situation. I see that 5 or 6 years down the road. Now that's something I'd do on Disney+. I'd have that be a long-form thing. There's not a lot of powers needed to have conversations, so you could have the Illuminati be a TV show, and then it expanded in the movies where the Illuminati appears fully formed in the movies. That's what I would do. That said, I don't think Thunderbolts are as hard to explain. I think Thunderbolts are coming. I think Thunderbolts are going to be late Phase 4. I think we're going to see villains as heroes very, very soon, and I think that's a much more explainable thing without the X-Men. So Thunderbolts I think is happening. Illuminati I think is later, and X-Men I think is later. I hope that answers your question. All right, over to streaming. Actually, I'm going to make sure that is Joel. Joel, let me know if that answers your question. If you have a follow-up, I'm going to try to catch it before it scrolls by me. Streaming recommendations. It is a new month. December means new movies on all sorts of services. On Netflix, nothing jumped out at me for the first, but on Amazon, Euphoria, which I've not seen yet, is coming to Amazon. Thank You for Smoking, one of my favorite comedies of that era, that early 2000s era. Brilliant film, brilliant film. Thank You for Smoking, so good. People vs. Larry Flint, second appearance of Ed Norton in our American cinema. A great, great role for Ed Norton. Tombstone, one of the classic westerns, one of the classic modern westerns. I love Tombstone, huge Val Kilmer fan, huge fan of the whole cast. Tombstone's a genius. And then on the fourth, a brand new movie called The Sound of Metal with, I believe it's Riz Ahmed, and he's genius, and the movie looks so intense, and I love Whiplash. I want to see more drum intensity, so that is coming at you on the 4th. Over on Hulu, we got 30 Days of Night, Any Given Sunday, Black Dynamite, Color of Money, Fifth Element, Hulk, the Eric Bana one, Hurt Locker, all the Lord of the Rings, Mummy 4. Those are just some of the fun movies that I enjoy that are popping up over on Hulu. And then on the 4th, My Hero Academia, complete Season 4. I'm only on Season 2 of My Hero, but I'm a big fan. Season 4 is coming out, and then apparently next summer is the 3rd movie. I didn't even know there were movies. John Getz, who's got me on a My Hero kick, told me there's a movie, and now there's another movie. There's a lot of anime. I really enjoy My Hero, so I wanted to let you guys know Season 4 coming at you on the 4th over on Hulu. Disney Plus, as of this month, has Anastasia, Big, Tom Hanks is Big, Mulan, and Sky High. I haven't seen Sky High since theaters, but I'm excited to check it out now that superheroes are running the world. And then finally on HBO Max, they've got Final Destination 1 through 4. Huge Final Destination fan. Juice, Tupac's genius film. Rock of Ages extended cut. I am a die-hard Rock of Ages defender. Huge fan of Rock of Ages. Yes, you heard me. It's the extended cut. And then on the 5th, they get The Photograph. So The Photograph is Lakeith Stanfield, and I missed it in theaters because that was when, like, Rona madness. It is coming to HBO Max on the 5th, continuing HBO Max's incredible run of getting movies just out of theaters over to us quickly. So excellent stuff now streaming in December. Let me see if I got any follow-up to the question about the Illuminati. I want to make sure I covered that as best I could. Let's see if I have any other questions. Let's see. What secondary characters would you like to have Disney Plus show now that the new characters like She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel are coming? What other diversity characters could be cool? I want to see those first. There's too many new characters to pick the next wave. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but I want to see how they handle Moon Knight. I want to see how they handle Ms. Marvel. I want to see how they handle Jennifer Walters. I need to see those before I pick because I want to know what the tone of the shows are. I want to know what, because Netflix had a different tone. That's the Marvel Knights. I want to see what the tone of these Disney Plus shows are, and then I'll plug and play what I want to see going forward. I'd love to see Speedball. I'd love to see the new Warriors. I'd love to see Squirrel Girl. I guess I can't answer your question. Those are the characters that jump out. Squirrel Girl, New Warriors, etc. Maybe the West Coast Avengers. I think the Young Avengers are coming to Disney Plus. I think that's what we're going to get. Cassie Lang and Hulkling, all those characters are definitely coming. Wiccan. So there you go. That is an answer. I just lied to myself. I could answer that. All right, and waiting to get Far Sector's collection. There is not a volume 1 yet, Darth Vader. Actually, there might be by now. Keep an eye out. There actually might be. I might have just directly lied to you. All right. People are saying what they're watching. Hell yeah. I love the community that is the Koi Pond, and I appreciate you guys all sharing. Joel, I hope I answered your question. I do think Thunderbolts are coming, and I do think they will help inspire a world that hates and fears them, and I do think the Illuminati is Phase 5, but I do not think it's coming as soon. I also think the X-Men, when it lands in the MCU, is going to be a very different tone. That could lead to Onslaught, that could lead to Omega Red, and more of the fear part of the X-Men. Like the hated part, they very well captured with the Bryan Singer Mutant movies, but I think we're going to lean into the public not knowing what to do with someone. I think they're playing the Avengers thing. The Avengers is, the heroes are heroes, you know what you're getting. In the world, we've made this hero thing acceptable. Imagine that with not knowing what the person's like with powers. I think an X-Men in the MCU is going to be a very different thing than the X-Men in the Singerverse. So I think that does tie into your Thunderbolt Illuminati question. All right. I think the Great Mr. Rue, I did watch the Tyson Jones fight. I was actually really impressed. You said the hug dance, which is funny. Those guys are in their 50s and they fight. Like Tyson's speed is absolutely incredible. I personally was impressed. I thought it was funny that they made it into a concert, but that's not the fighter's fault. I think a lot of people don't have the patience for wrestling, so they want boxing, and with boxing you have a certain amount of expectation of knockouts, and that wasn't allowed, so it turned into like the parts of MMA that people don't like while still being boxing. But the technical aspects and the speed for their age and for the history I thought was very impressive, but I very much enjoyed it, to answer your question. And there was some great dance hugging. People are also bringing up the MCU Spider-Man. By the way, I'm able to scroll now. I don't know what changed. Speculate responsibly. I'm trying, Force Center. I'm trying, Michael McCarcel. Oh, that's funny, Ian. You didn't like JMS's Spider-Man. That's really funny. The end of it wasn't great, but I love the beginning. All right. Oh, we got a new Streamlabs before I wrap it up. Joel, thanks, Coy. I like your thoughts. Okay, good. I always want to make sure people feel like they got an answer to the question, especially if they're Streamlab folk. It's always my biggest guilt when I log off and I see a Streamlab that just popped up, and I'm like, no, I'm a monster. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I love to talk about The Mandalorian. I love to talk about Wonder Woman. I love that I'm not sick anymore. Of course, we have the most viewers of the episode at the very end, but I got to wrap it up. And let's see. I want to interview Comic Works with Jimmy. I am booked up all but 2 days in December, and those days are the 24th and the 31st, because I do think I'm going to do a Christmas stream, and I have either Schmodown responsibilities, interviews, or my new shows over at Collider. By the way, a new episode of Something You Guys Dig is dropping this week. Can't say until it drops, but you probably know what it is. But you don't know who's on the show, and I'm very excited for you guys to do that. But Mr. Comic Works with Jimmy, January or February, yes. You have it in record right now. Yes, but I can't do it until then, so I apologize, but I just don't have the time in the schedule. Sal, I would love to do a one-on-one with Christian. He is very rad. Tweet him, tell him I'm in, and I accept his challenge, or your challenge. But if Christian wants to, I would do a one-on-one in a second. And Ian, Mike Tyson could knock anyone in the chat out with his pinky finger in a goddamn second. Nat, thank you. Love you too. Appreciate you. This is fun. I'm just literally reading. I said I had to wrap it up, and I do. I've got laundry in the dryer, and I live in an apartment complex. I'm a monster. I'm leaving it in there. Who do I think I am? Michael McCarcel, people can say what they want. Mike Tyson can still knock out most of us with one punch. I agree. All right. Ian, you grab that. You tell him. Tell him I sent you, and that I'm in. And I don't know if he wants me on his show, but if he wants me, I'm there. All right, reading is fun. I'm gonna end the show on reading is fun. Everyone read, everyone buy some comic books, everyone watch some stuff from the safety of your home. I appreciate you very, very much. Until 30 minutes from now, Batman Returns. Actually, yeah, it's good that we've got the most people in the chat right now. Guys, in half an hour, 5:30, Batman Returns. I'm gonna build the link, I'm gonna grab my laundry, I'm gonna drink some green juice, Los Angeles. All right, I appreciate you. I'll see you in half an hour. Batman Returns. I will return with Batman returning.